very, very excited to interview our guest today on the Wealthy Mama Show. Interviews are by far my favorite. Like, I look forward to them. I love hearing people's stories. I have several friends and clients and past clients that are single moms, and the realness, the rawness, the challenges that come with being a single mom, from what they've shared with me is like, it's a lot. So if you are a single mama, or you know someone that's a single mom, I really think that this conversation could give them some hope and inspiration. And, you know, we're so much stronger together. And one of my favorite sayings is that we can do anything when we do it together. And community is absolutely key. Absolutely key. Oh, dun 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 dun. Give me hashtag live or hashtag replay. Let's make sure that our internet and all the all the challenges are just gonna go out of the way. Hi, friend.
Oh,
How are you?
I am doing very well. How are you this morning?
Doing amazing. You
Good.
look
Thank
amazing. Like, I love your
you.
look. It's so good. It's so good. Well, welcome to the show. For those that don't know you, I would love for you to share as much of your story as you want, and then we can get into like what you're doing to help single moms and all those things.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Trish, and I've been a single mom for the last 6 years. At the time, when my ex and I separated, I was a stay-at-home mom and had a little side business doing in-home laundry, which was super unglamorous, but it helped bring in some extra money. But in reality, I didn't have a career. And so I went into childcare immediately after my separation because I love kids. I have a lot of experience with children, with being a nanny. I was a foster parent. I birthed my own child. And so that just seemed the easiest kind of transition into a career. And I went from, working in a daycare to being a manager, then an assistant director, and then the pandemic hit, and I got laid off from what I thought was going to be my dream job. Like, I was planning to move into another management role, and there was this whole plan, and none of it worked out.
Oh,
And it all worked out perfectly.
right.
Um, but being a single mom and being laid off was terrifying. But it was actually the best thing that ever happened to me. Because of the timing of it, there was resources available, which were like, I mean, just a godsend. And I decided to go to college. I never went to college when I was younger. And so at 40 years old, I enrolled into Columbus State Community College, in which I've been attending classes for the last 3 years to get a degree in social work. And so, all these challenges that I've experienced as a single mom and just as a person, have led me to better things. And it's easy to look back and see that. Sometime when you're in the midst of that, it is not always apparent and it is really overwhelming. But really, since that I got laid off and started down this path of really following my passion, things just continue to work out for me. It doesn't mean I'm handed everything. It doesn't mean it's easy, but it is just when I think, oh gosh, how am I going to do this? Or what do I do next? Like, something shows up and things work out. So yeah, I love this saying, and I've always thought this, that like it takes a village to raise a child. But after my divorce, my mantra became, it takes a village to raise me. So yes, I want people around my child and her to have, a loving community, but I need that too. And it is just so essential for me to be surrounded by community. And so I've spent the last 6 years building community. I have an amazing family, and I've also just created friends that have become like family to me and my daughter as well. So,
It's
yeah.
so important, and we all can benefit from it. And it creates that overflow when you are well nourished and taken
Yes.
care of. That beautiful overflow happens, which is obviously easier said than done when you're in the thickness of being a single mom. So, like, what like shed some light for us on like the hardships of being a single mom
Yeah,
that, others don't get. Like I really want single moms to feel seen and heard right now, and
sure.
to shed some light on those struggles.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different aspects that you can look at as far as statistically, single moms are more likely to live in poverty. And I've learned so much more about that being in school and studying social work in marginalized communities. But the reality of day to day is just the little things. It is, when your kid's sick, do you have a job that is flexible that you can, work from home or take time off? And I am lucky that I'm in a job that is hybrid and pretty flexible. And so that is a privilege that I have, but I know so many people that don't have that option. And, I try to like highlight the challenges without it always sounding like doom and gloom.
Yeah.
But just the reality of women in general in corporate spaces do tend to make less. Women or mothers tend to make less money because you take time off and because you're passed up for promotions. So those things are all a reality, but aren't necessarily things you think of day to day or that I think of day to day. But just the small things that add up. At the end of the day, when you may be struggling, there's nobody to pass the kids off to, or to bounce ideas off of. My daughter is amazing. She's 9 years old, and as I say how wonderful she is, and I'm like, she's a mini me. And she is so much of the child that I wish I could have been. And it's just a different time. I'm not dissing my parents or, how
Yeah.
they chose to parent. It's just a different time. Um, but she's challenging, she's stubborn, she's opinionated, and I question, whether I'm making the right decision. And I don't have that person that knows her in that way and that I can bounce ideas off of. I do co-parent and she does see, her other parent, but it's just not the same. And
Yeah.
so I know at my core, I am a good mother and I'm grateful that I have that knowing about myself. And I'm not perfect and I make a lot of mistakes. But it is just having that dialogue and that, intimate knowing of your child to have somebody else to talk to is just really challenging. And so that's why I've, built community and expose her to different people regularly that can see the different sides of her so that when I do have challenges that I don't know how to navigate, I do have people to talk to, but it isn't the same.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and she's seeing you pursue your dreams, which I
Yeah.
think is so, so important. And,
Yeah.
do you know who Ed Millett is? He's a motivational
Yes.
speaker. So
Yes.
he's one of my favorites. I heard him speak years ago when I was pregnant with Boone. And he said on stage, parents, the best thing that you can do is show your kids, like,
Mhm.
go towards your dreams. Like, that is the most important thing because then it normalizes it for
Yeah.
them. And like I think that's so important because obviously you're working full time, you're in school, like there's a lot on top of all of your single mom parent duties, right? And so there's a lot on your plate, and also I think it's so inspiring to show her that you're a strong woman and look at you going for your dreams when you could have been doom and gloom
Mhm.
and said woe is me and stayed stuck in your story. Like that could have been all, like that would have been totally valid for you
Yeah.
to do. So how did you, like, for a single mom that's more in the thick of it right now, like she's trying to like get herself out of that story and it feels
Mhm.
thick and raw and hard and like, she's like, man, I want to pursue my dreams. Like, what advice would you give her to get through that beginning thickness
Mhm.
of, you know, acclimating to being a single mom?
Yeah. So first, I just want to say one of the mindset, and this ties into responding to that question, is it is just about mindset. I've always believed in empowering women and women having a voice and all of that. And when I went through my divorce, I went from reading books to my daughter about women in history, and it's funny because I teach her about all these women that are rebels and like kind of go against the grain, but then I'm like, also, can you listen to my rules? Um, um, but I went from like teaching her about these women to being one of them and showing her, and that is not easy. I, there are days that I'm like, I wish I could live a simple, small life. And I know better, and I can no longer go back to that. Um, but to answer your question, and it really is about mindset. It is about figuring out who I am outside of being a mom first, because I'm a whole human with all my own feelings and all my own opinions and all my own experiences of 42 years, and I get to be that person. And so figuring out what makes me happy, what brings me joy, what I want to do with my life. And, soon after my separation, I went through an emotional intelligence training. And one of the exercises we did was asking, like, what do you want? Just something simple. And I literally had no idea, because my goal in life was to get married and have kids and be a stay-at-home mom. And I did that.
Yeah.
And then it all fell apart. And then I'm like, okay, now what? And so it really was just starting from there. And it can be asking yourself that question each day, like, what would make me feel joy today? What would make me feel grounded? Or what is one small thing I can do for myself that is not tied to my kids? And really just starting there, starting with myself, with ourselves, and then building on that. And so that is why it's been so important to me to create that mind shift, or shift my mindset, and create those small things and integrate those into my life, in every single day, whether it is, like, single mom hardships are not going to be solved by a bubble bath or face mask, but those things are nice sometimes, like treat ourselves. Um, so yeah, just start with one little small thing and build on that. Is how I would begin when you're really just in the thick of it.
I You just said one of the most profound things I've ever heard. Like, I want to reflect that back to you, because like the bubble baths are great or anything like that. It's a surface level self-care act. So like it's going to give you some quick dopamine. And also, if we want deep lasting feelings, then we've got to go deep.
Mhm.
And you can decide how deep you want to go, but like that emotional intelligence program, like we went through the same one for those that are watching and listening. And that single question of what do you want completely changed my life. Completely changed my life. It's one of the most simple questions. I wasn't a mother at the time, but how often as busy women do we stop and
Mhm.
ask ourselves, what do you want? Like truly deep, not surface level, deep.
Yeah.
And so I encourage everyone listening to sit with that question, because it sounds like that question changed your life too. Like it was,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I couldn't give them an answer. They had to keep asking. And then
Yeah.
I like had tears running down my face because I felt all of this pressure. And then they finally like were able to like get out what I wanted to say. Like it was so interesting to me. I wish I had a recording of it, because I can only imagine. And yours too. Like it just, I'm sure, was profound. And anyone can engineer that moment of,
Mhm.
really stopping and slowing down and asking yourself, like, what do you want? And so, you know, when you're in that moment and you do start to go on the journey of like rediscovering you, and you've made some big moves over 6 years, which is not a lot of time
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things. And so you've been able to quantum leap very quickly through the process. On top of mindset, like and community, because you've mentioned those two things, is there anything else that has like really helped you persevere and keep going and going towards your dreams that you can give another single mama?
I would say I come back to those two things all the time. But really finding like community is important, but also just finding your specific people. You know, there can be like one or two people that I can call and they will always pick up the phone.
Mm,
And so in surrounding yourself with people that believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. Because there were so many times that I was like, how am I going to do this? I don't have the experience. I don't have the knowledge. I mean, 2 years ago, I was looking for a job after, I got laid off. And then I was in school for full time for almost 2 years and was able to do that without working, which that in itself was like a total miracle. On paper, it did not make sense. I did not have enough money to make that happen, but somehow the money showed up and made it happen. But it's not, I knew there was a point in which I was going to run out of money. You can't live on student loans forever.
right.
And so but looking at my resume, I'm like, I have a huge gap in my resume from when I stayed at home. And then I just worked in childcare. I kept saying that. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But when I sat down with friends that worked in recruiting or worked in corporate America and were like, no, Trish, these things that you've done like apply to these jobs. Like, stop downplaying, the experience and knowledge that you have. If you can wrangle like 15 2 and 3 year olds, like you can handle a team of adults at work.
Yeah.
so uh, so it really is like surrounding yourself with people that believe in you when you don't believe in yourself, and just looking at things in a different way of how they can apply in a different situation. You know, there's this kind of two ways to look at motherhood is people are like, mothers are amazing and can do anything, and also then there's like the negative side of like, oh, but then you get passed up for promotion, or there's like negative connotation with it as well. But it's like, advocate for yourself,
Yes.
speak up of the things that you bring to the team. I am an Aries. My birthday is next week. I have no problem voicing my opinion, or standing up for myself. And I see so often how other women, that's just not the case. So advocate for yourself, look at things creatively, and then just go for it. You can't always take a leap when you're the only one bringing in income, but like take baby steps. I'm not saying jump off a cliff and like quit your job to start this dream business overnight, but like start working at it and take one action at a time. And that really helps build that belief in yourself. And then, like I said, have other people just pouring into you as well.
I love that so much. The advocating for yourself is so huge. Like, yes, there are lots of, outside forces working against single moms, women in general, moms. Like, so we do have outside forces working against us. And also, let's not create more
Yeah.
internal, like us, doing our very, very best to raise our standards and advocate for ourselves. And just like you said, going for it. And obviously you can take calculated risk and protect yourself, but there's so many things that we can do to go for it and try and fight for what we believe in, and get creative, like you mentioned with your resume. Like, you're so right, like those skills are so
Mhm.
transferable and so important. And yeah, if you can be in childcare, I feel like you can do anything because
So true.
that takes a very, very special person, and it's huge. And I love that you're going to school and the social work piece, which is so perfect for what you're doing next.
Yeah.
So, are you willing to like give us a little sneak peek of what's happening this month and
Yeah.
beyond, for single moms? Because I think it's so needed, and I'm so excited for the world to know about it.
Yeah. So I'm really excited that May 1st, I am launching Magic Mom Monthly. And this is going to be a monthly program for single moms and really, tying in a couple things that we've talked about today is the mindset work, figuring out like what brings us joy, also self-care. Incorporated in that is community care. Like we said, face masks and bubble bath are not going to fix these problems. But when you surround yourself with people that support you and understand, at least to the level they can, your struggles, then when you take that time for yourself, everything else doesn't fall apart. So like self-care and community care really go together. And then there's an integration of taking those small practices and figuring out where they fit in your life. And then the last part is going to be the community, because there is just things that you don't understand until you're in it. And so at the end of the day, like having somebody to check in with or having a group to share with is just so very important. And so I'm really excited. That to be launching, like I said, May 1st. And one of the things I've discovered about myself over the last 6 years is I'm weird in like the most wonderful ways. And I just call it like my woo-woo side, the very like spiritual, intuitive. I have discovered so much about myself. And I just keep coming back to like the magic. And so my website is like Made by Magic. Like we are all have magic inside of us. And so whether you believe in astrology or, energies or whatever it is, there's still magic to be found. And so that's why it's like Magic Mom Monthly. Like we are all magical inside. We all have gifts. And I just want to give single moms the space to uncover those, and celebrate those. Oh, that's the other thing I can't believe I forgot, which is so funny. Celebrate. We are often told like, don't be, too cocky or brag about yourself. But I'm really the opposite. It is like celebrate everything that you do, celebrate every small win. In March of 2020, when the pandemic shut the world down, I was staffing the leadership program that I went through. And the entire program at that point was about goals. Like, what are we doing? Like setting goals and achieving. But 90% of those goals just went out the window when everybody's stuck inside. And so we started celebrating brushing our teeth and taking a shower because that was a novelty when everybody was stuck inside for days at a time.
Yeah.
So it really built from that. Like celebrate, celebrate, celebrate the small things, the big things, the challenges, like acknowledge it and celebrate it is so, so important.
Well, and what we think, what we believe, what we put energy around expands. And so,
Yeah.
During those challenging times as a single mom, that energy of expansion and positivity it's so exhilarating and it's so helpful. Like that alone is it is magic. You're so right. And I'm so excited. So if someone is watching or they know a single mom, how can they join? Give us a little bit more details. I know you're
Yeah.
running some specials to kick
Yes.
off, and it's your birthday month and all the things. So
Yeah.
shamelessly plug away.
Yeah, so the next few days, I am running and just it's super excited to get people involved and get this started. And so it's gonna be $11. $11. Like I think you can't even get like two coffees at Starbucks for that. I haven't been to Starbucks in a while, but so up until my birthday, which is in a couple days, but I'm not gonna say it just yet because there is like I do want to build some suspense there. But it's $11 for the next few days. Then the price will go up. And then by the end of the month, like I said, when we launch May 1st, the full price will be $44 a month. So this is really a way to like pour into yourself and make yourself a priority and make it matter like what you want to create in your life. And so it is an investment, and if there's ever an issue with that, like please just let me know because I know the reality of of how things can come up. So yeah, so right now it's $11 to join. I can provide my information, send me a message. We're going to officially open up and do a launch at the end of this month around like the 20th. And so at that point, people can actually sign up, but get on the wait list in the next few days. It's $11. And I'm just super excited. My goal is 100 moms in the next 100 days, which feels just crazy to me. And so exciting. I just like have this vision of women that are empowered and grounded and joyful, and like, what would our world look like if that was the reality? So take care of the moms, and the moms take care of everybody else. And so we can't fix, the whole world, but I can make my world better and then impact one person and one person and one person, and make a difference there. So I'm super excited about
I
it.
love that so much. And there's nothing better than going even to a virtual community that gets it.
Yeah.
Like, this is not just like, oh, like, I know it's hard and they don't know it's hard, right? Like, I'm not a single mom, so like I can empathize, but I don't understand the deep struggles. And so, a single mom coming in here and you've been through this, and now having your social work, all your skills that you're learning in college, like it's so helpful because like you understand on the deepest level, and also have the tools, resources, energy, solutions. Like, so it's like the both and, because we can empathize and love on people and witness them, and also then eventually there needs to be some solutions and some
Right.
support around that, which is so needed and so huge. And so it's so affordable. So connect with Trish on Instagram or Facebook, and make sure that you get in there. If you know of a single mom, I feel like unfortunately we all know at least one single mom. My ask is that you share this conversation, even if they don't join. Maybe there's something that we said that will just give her a little pep in her step. And I know you're putting out a lot of free content as well, so if you're not ready to join, at least connect, say hi to Trish. She's such a warm human that just really does want to help other people. So those 100 mamas are well on their way, my friend, well on their way. So
Yeah.
In closing, what would be like one last thing that, for a single mom, no matter where she's at in her journey, like, what's been your mantra? What's really supported you on the good days and the challenging days?
Yeah. Um, hmm. So I look over and I have this quote, which is funny. I also have a coffee cup. So she believed she could, so she did.
Yes.
And I have it on the wall right here, and I didn't realize I was drinking out of this cup today, so perfect. Yeah, just believe that you can and take the action to work towards that, whether it is crawling baby steps or running at a sprint. Just take action and, just believe in yourself, because you are capable of doing whatever you put your mind to. Surround yourself with people that believe in you too, and really, like, we're unstoppable when we do things together, and are aligned with our vision that we want to create in the world. So believe in yourself and you can do it.
So good.
Yeah.
That was meant to be, that you picked that coffee cup
Yeah.
today. What are the odds? Sure. It's so good. Well, thank you. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
With Trish. Hop in her amazing community. You will not regret it. So I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.